Welcome, Jam. Um, just briefly, I will also allow my colleagues and current students to introduce themselves. So we have a wonderful panel this evening that are coming to, share their experiences about studying abroad here at Emerson. Boston is home base, but there are also phenomenal opportunities outside of Boston. So we'll start with Takesha to learn more about her, and then we'll pass it down to the students. Welcome, Takesha.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I'm Taikisha Morgan, she series of pronouns. I'm the Senior Director for Global Engagement and Student Experiences here at Emerson within the Department of Global Engagement Programs. Here in this department, we handle students studying abroad, but also we handle students who are coming to Emerson College to study here on the Boston campus. I'm here to talk about especially Castawell. I had the pleasure of working and living in Europe for Emerson College for 5 years. I'm now back in Boston in the States, but for 5 years, I'm one of the senior managers for our campus in the Netherlands. And I'm also here to talk about our other programs. And Emerson has a plethora of great programs to study abroad, where we have affiliated programs, exchange programs, global pathways around the world. So, here to kind of cover some of that and answer some of those questions about those experiences. Thank you so much, Rafi.
Thank you, Takesha. Titus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Titus. I'm a sports communications major, minoring in marketing. I'm a junior, and I was studied abroad in our Australia program. I was there for 2 weeks and a half, like December 26th through January 10th. So I was also able to experience the New Year's as well. And thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Titus. Lane.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rain Bailey. I use the she series of pronouns. My major is theater and performance, and I'm an outreach ambassador, and I studied abroad at Emerson's Global Pathways program in Chile, Santiago.
And Jacob.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I am a senior. I study marketing and my minor is economics. I'm also on the men's basketball team here. I studied abroad in Ghana in 2024 in the Global Pathways program, and I'm here to just provide my perspective and tell you all about Emerson.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that. So let's start more with an overview of where we are and the opportunities. Like Keisha, I think global engagement is a broad concept, but can you speak a little bit more about the most common programs that we have, and also some of your favorite programs?
Cool. So I have to say I'm a bit biased. Behind me in my picture is the our Castawell campus in the Netherlands. It's one of the places I call home. I had the pleasure of not just living in the Netherlands. I lived on the Castawell campus for 5 years, where I served in senior leadership for our Department of Student Affairs that is there, and I still to this day am a leadership and supervisor remotely for that department and work with a lot of kind of building the bridges between Boston and our Castawell campus in the Netherlands. This year is our 40th year anniversary at Castawell, so we're very proud, and it's a program that has been around for a long time. So we have a lot of history and a lot of alumni who have very fond memories of their study abroad experience. We just completed our spring semester yesterday, and the students arrived back here in the States from their 90 days in the Netherlands. So, of course, we have this program. It is a 90-day program in the Netherlands. Students usually go during their sophomore year, but you can be upperclassmen if you want to go. The classes at the Castawell campus are more 200 levels, so sophomore level classes. So it's something important to know about the Castawell program if you're going to look at attending there. We are in the countryside of the Netherlands. We're on the other side of the country from Amsterdam. We're right near the German border. So we're in the countryside. We're nestled in a small town called Well. That is very picture perfect. And our students really love that experience. During that time there, they tend to travel quite extensively through Europe on their free weekends, have classes at the castle Monday through Thursday. So they tend to have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday free to travel. Each semester, the fall and spring, get a week break. So they have a fall break at Castwell and a spring break. So students have a week to travel independently through Europe on their own during their time with us. That program also offers two academic excursions, which are required by the program. So just give you an example, this semester, we always go to Amsterdam as being kind of the capital of the Netherlands, and they went to Madrid. So each semester they have two academic programs they're required to go on, and it's not just about touring, it's about actually learning what they're learning in classes, being able to see it up front and in place in Europe as they're on those academic excursions. So they're really exciting, and our students tend to really enjoy their semester abroad. Outside of our Castaway campus, we also have global pathways that some of our fabulous students here have gone on. Emerson has over 20 global pathway programs around the world. As you can hear, from Australia to Ghana to Chile, students get a chance to go. Global pathways are usually 2 to 5 week programs. They're usually over winter break. Titus and Rain went to programs over winter break, which are usually about 2 to 3 weeks. And Jacob went to one that is a 4 week program, which is in the summer. Many of our global pathways are during the summertime. And they're spread once again across the world. But we do have some that are housed on the Castawell campus. We have about 4 of them that are housed on the Castawell campus during the summer that are different topics. So, a question we get often, can I apply for a global pathway because it tends to be topic specific? Do I have to be in that major? You do not need to be in that major to apply for a global pathway. You just have to have want and passion about that field and want to go and spend that time in learning. These are also faculty-led global pathway programs. So that means Emerson faculty here are creating these programs, and we are able to put them on, and they are traveling with their students as they are making their way to these different parts of the world and whatever they're studying during that specific global pathway program. We have exchange programs also as well with many different institutions around the world. We have non-affiliated programs. We have students who come and just maybe what Emerson offers is not something that they want to do. So we have non-affiliated Emerson programs and the relationships we've built with other universities around the world, where we will work with our students to get into those programs, apply and go there during their a non-affiliated semester abroad. And that is a possibility. The biggest things we tell students is come see us during your first semester in college. Don't wait. Come see us your first semester and let's talk about what your dreams and aspirations are in regards to study abroad. We can more than likely make it happen. I've seen students who've done 4 of our programs in their 4 years here at Emerson, from going to Castawell, going to a global pathway program, going to ELA, and maybe doing one of the shorter global pathways over winter break. So the possibilities are endless when it comes to study abroad, but you need to come see us during that first week of school, not that first week, but that first semester of school. We also have fairs and global pathway fairs and things like that that you can come in and really meet the faculty and hear more about the program. We love to hear students come to our office and wanting to meet with us and talk about what programs we have to offer for them. So yeah, that is a possibility. Another thing, if money is a question, because we know many times money is a concern when you think about study abroad. We have a specialist in our office who specifically works on scholarships for study abroad. So if you come to see us that first semester, we can talk about all of that. How can you go about applying for things to make sure you have the funding to study abroad at Emerson?
Perfect, Keisha. Actually, that was one of the questions about scholarships and assistance. So thank you so much for answering that. There was another interesting question. How do the students move in Europe? Like, are there recommendations to go to certain airports? Are there specific buses that maybe take them back to one city so they can travel to other countries? How does that work once they are at the beautiful castle and they want to explore Europe?
Yeah. So we are in the southern region, which is more of a rural region of the Netherlands, where the castle is. I think it makes us very unique and different because, of course, Boston is in a big major city, and LA, our LA campus is also another big major city. Beautiful campuses, but Castwell offers something different. We have grass and lawns and ducks and koi fish in our two moats. That is very different from the other programs. How do they get around? So students usually we do have a public transport. Public transport in Europe, especially the Netherlands, is quite good. We do have a bus that passes through the town of Well that students can take to local towns or to a train station. We also have a taxi service company we primarily work with who sets rates for us for our students to get to the local airports near us. We do have local European operating airports that are closer to Castawell than going all the way back to Amsterdam to go to Schiphol Airport, which is the international airport in Amsterdam. So there are ways to get around. Students also share costs. So let's say I have a 6 a.m. flight going to Rome. Usually there are other people. We also highly encourage that students travel together. So if they're traveling together, they're going to book a taxi and they're going to share the cost of that getting to the airport. And sometimes it's not even going to the same place, but maybe we all have, I have a 6 a.m., you have a 6:30, and I have a 7. We're all going to get in the same taxi and get to the airport and split that cost. So we also work with them. We have an entire student affairs team in the Netherlands that I've had the pleasure of working with and supervising over the years, who will work with them and teach them about how to do that when they first get there. We have a whole mandatory orientation when they arrive to the Castawell campus. We have a Castawell team, a student affairs team, who's there around the clock for questions and for emergency purposes as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Last question I will take for now so we can hear from the students as well. So the question is about transfer students studying abroad. Definitely, it's a possibility. Myself was a transfer student and I did have the possibility to go to Emerson, Los Angeles. I didn't take it because it didn't work in my schedule, but I have a lot of friends who ended up going to LA during their senior year, and there were also transfers. And also, there was another transfer student who even got to go to the castle. So there's definitely those opportunities, as Takesha said. If you want to study abroad, go say hi. They are in the last floor of the Orr Walker building, so they're super cool people up there. So go say hello, ask them those questions, set up those meetings, because the whole purpose of Takesha and her team is to figure out different ways for you to study abroad. And as our students will tell you, I cannot wait for you to hear what they have to say about studying abroad. So, with that in mind, Titus, how did you decide that you wanted to go, around the corner to Sydney, Australia?
I don't think that's right around the corner, but I mean, the 15-hour flight was something crazy. But I mean, I met the professor that's in charge of it, and she was a great lady and kind of told me on like how the program was, and I also met some former students that did it as well. And I saw that I was be able to go to like the U.S. Open and as a sports, the Australia Open, sorry, not U.S. But as a sports comp student, I was like really interested in that, and just I'd never been out the country, so that was actually a first time thing. And I would say Emerson did help on like scholarship wise and money as well. And it was kind of like a dream come true, just going into a continent that I've never been to. Experiencing New Year's first time. So it was really welcoming, and just seeing the excursions that we would have done. I know we had classes early morning, but the excursions that we did, the opera house, that was just something that, I was just caught my eye and I applied, I got in, and Emerson helped me throughout the like whole journey. And it was really an incredible experience.
Thank you, Titus. What about you, Lane? I mean, Chile is also a little further down, the corner. How was that experience for you? And had you been outside of the country before that?
No, that was actually my first time leaving the United States, and I think that Emerson did a good job like helping me with scholarships and applying for a passport. They were just very supportive throughout the whole process. I think my experience with going to Chile was just amazing, and it was like what Titus said, it was a dream come true. I think I developed a better understanding about myself and who I was as an American, being out of the context of like being in Boston and being in Baltimore. And I learned about like different cultures as far as theater too, and it kind of steered me away from more so like the Eurocentric view of teaching that I've always received when it comes to theater, like Meisner and Stanislavski. So I think like being introduced to like Korean theater, and there was like a piece from Germany and Teatro Amil. It's like a popular festival in Chile they have every year. Just being ex just that exposure alone just helped me rethink what I want to do as an artist. So I was very grateful for that.
Thank you, Len. What about you, Jacob? How was it going to Ghana and making that decision to study abroad?
Yeah, making that decision was very unexpected for me. I came into college having no idea that I was going to study abroad or not even knowing all the possibilities that were available. So it actually started from talking to Takesha and everybody in her office, Dr. Pinder, if anybody knows that name.
Yeah.
I had a few meetings with them and I expressed to them my goals. I told them that if I were to travel abroad, I would need specific funding. I would want to go to specific locations that were pretty unique and outside of Europe to get kind of that other perspective that Rain was talking about. And so through a couple of conversations, I was introduced to this kind of program that really stood out to me for all its excursions. I did an internship while I was there. And so there's a professional development aspect as well. And yeah, it kind of ended up just coming to play piece by piece through those meetings. And I'm super glad I did it. It was one of the best experiences I've had since being at Emerson.
Thank you, Jacob. Tekisha, a little bit going back to you, one of the questions is about the population number of students that go to the Netherlands, and how is the housing at the castle?
Mhm. So Castawell has beds for 90 students. So we take 90 students per semester. Summer looks a bit different because those are global pathway programs are there. So it runs a little bit different, but I will explain what that looks like as well. But during fall and spring, we have 90 students that go to Castawell, and we have 90 beds on our Castawell campus. The housing application for Castawell, once they're accepted, goes through the Emerson College portal system we have here. We've built our own Castawell housing system in that. Also, so students aren't, so they're used to the same system, so they're not using something different. Castawell is not suite style, we're corridor style housing, where students are in singles, doubles, triples, and quads on the Castawell campus. They share bathrooms on the hallway. The bathrooms are single stall showers and single stall toilets on the campus in the Netherlands. We have two buildings on campus where students are housed. One is right behind me, that is called the main castle. It is the first piece of the castle that was built in the 13th century. That we have about 50 some odd beds in that building, and the building that I would be looking toward, which is called the VB, in Dutch, the Voorburg, that houses about 30 some odd student beds in that building. So students apply, they can choose roommates, let us know their preferences and things like that for the Castawell campus, very similar to the Boston campus, but of course, the housing and buildings themselves look quite different because it is a castle. They are living in a castle for 90 days. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, thank you, Tekisha. And to follow up, if there are any students who want to study abroad, but they might want to do something besides the Netherlands or LA, can you share a few samples of other locations or programs that our students have done where they are able to go for a full semester?
Yeah, definitely. So first off, Emerson has a collaborative degree at Paris College of Art. It's a program I work primarily with as their kind of student care and support person for that program. So our students can do an exchange with that program where they can go for a semester to study abroad in Paris, in the heart of Paris. Another place that they can go is Franklin University in Switzerland. Also another beautiful campus in Lugano, Switzerland, that I've had the pleasure of visiting a few times, representing Emerson College. Blankerna School of Communications is another institution that you can go and spend a semester abroad with. There's a school in Argentina. So yeah, we have quite a few. And once again, if you have a school, you have a place that you have an idea and it's a non-affiliated, all you need to do is sit down and meet with us and we'll work with you on how can we make that work for you. We do have a long list of non-affiliated programs and schools we have relationships with that you could also possibly do an exchange semester with. But you would need to come down and sit with us and talk about what school that is, where you want to go, so we can work with you and figure out how will that work. But it's possible.
Thank you, Takesha. We'll continue with the students and then we'll go back to some of the other questions. For our students, what was the biggest surprise going abroad? I know for Titus and Glenn, it was your first time. For Jacob, I don't remember hearing a little bit more, but how was that experience of, especially you guys took long, long flights, all of you to get there. How was those first moments in a different country? And we can start with Titus, and we'll go in the same order.
Yeah, I would say my experience is just like first thing that caught my eye is just how hot it was. It was like winter in United States, but it was summer there. Like literally, the flight I left was 100 degrees, so I got some sunburn. I'll be honest, but that was kind of like a shock. And then also just going to the money exchange place, getting in Australian money. Raph, I kind of showed you, the Australian money, and just seeing that, seeing how much the money is there, and seeing the difference that was, and seeing also how Australia drives on the opposite side of the road. That was something that was just shocking to me. So I would say that was like the first thing that caught my eye, but it was really intriguing and just understanding how the culture works there, especially one of the classes that we had like first day was kind of just talking about how the history it was with Australia. So
I think the biggest culture shock for me was how they operate and how they're more so in community with one another. I think that the people in Chile, they value collectivism, and then the people in the United States kind of value individualism, if that makes sense. So even in Boston, we see people are walking fast, they have somewhere to go, but I feel like in Chile, you would see more people like talking and just being one with each other, and I thought that was very beautiful. Like even for example, when we would like sit down for dinner, like service was so slow. And we're like, why is service so slow? But it's like we're accustomed to moving so fast and just not being one with each other. But in Chile, it was just like, let's sit down, let's have coffee for 45 minutes. Okay, this is the next part. And it was just like they value each other's company and value each other. I think that was just something that was really, really beautiful. And it was kind of like shocking to me. And it made me reflect on like how I like commune with like people who I love and just remind me that I need to take the time to just spend time with other people and really value what I have right in front of me.
For my experience in Ghana, the most surprising thing was just how friendly the people there were. This was also my first time out of the country, and I was really intimidated with the idea of being like thousands of miles of home from away from home. And it was weird because while I was a foreigner and I expected to be treated like a foreigner, that was never the case. I was actually almost given like special attention. So from the moment I got off the plane, there was like a welcoming committee that had a big sign that said Akwaba, which means welcome in the local Ghanaian language. And then from the first day on, going to the markets, doing the activities, I'd go play football with the other university students in Ghana. It was just completely encompassingly welcoming. And there was no point where I felt scared or intimidated, which I thought that I would be excluded in some aspects being from the United States. But the community was great. I was just surprised by how friendly people were.
Thank you so much. One of the questions that I saw was about international students for the visa. So if you need any visa, same concept, you can speak with the Global Engagement Program team and they can support you throughout the whole process, what requirements are there, and what are the steps to follow. I think that's why it's so important to connect with them early on. So if you have a specific circumstance or situation, they can help you navigate those that step to make the process a lot easier. For any paperwork that you may need. Takesha, there was a question about processes and how you mentioned there's 90 bets for fall and spring. What is the process like for students to apply? Let's say we have any students who are like, yes, I want to go in my second year, I'm ready. What do they need to do and what do they need to be on the lookout for when they arrive here in the fall?
So, application for Castwell opens up mid-September and closes mid-November, a whole year before you would even go to Castwell. So, as students and families will be coming in this upcoming fall 2026, you would be applying this fall to go to Castwell either spring, fall 2027 or spring 2028. Would be when the applications open. As I said, it's open for an extended amount of time. And we also encourage students to come talk to us if they have specific questions. We get asked often, like, what do I need to do, to get into the program? It is for Caswell, it is a random selection. We try to make sure there is enough student from each major at Emerson to get the experience. So it's not by you do have to have, meet the minimum GPA requirement, which I believe is like a 2.0, 2.5 to actually apply. And that would go for any of our programs. But after that, it is random selection specifically for the Castwell campus. It is different for LA and other programs, but for the specifically for Castwell, it is that. For global pathways, like our students have done here, it usually is an essay that you're submitting, and the faculty member who leads that program is evaluating, reviewing the essays, and they kind of make the choice on who gets accepted into that program. So that's how that works for global pathway programs. So Castwell, it is a random selection, and we also try to make sure it is an even amount from each major to really have a diverse group of population of students who are attending Castwell.
Thank you, Takesha. And just a follow-up in terms of credits, is there a maximum amount of semesters abroad that you can do? Or how does it work when students want to do multiple programs throughout their time at Emerson?
Yeah. As I said before, I've had students do up to 4 programs, but those were those students who came and saw us their first semester. They came, they saw us, they really had taken the time, kind of really researched our website or really researched what they want to do, and also looking at what we offer, and then coming down to sit with us to talk about what those experiences can be. Like I said, one student, I know an example, she did Castawell. She did our link letter voice program for theater. She was a musical theater major. She went to LA for the ELA program, and she also did the Chile program. So she did 4 programs in her 4 years at Emerson College. But she also was a very much a staple up on our floor here. We all knew her, and we all knew her. She knew all of us because she also did programs where different managers were managing those programs. She was a student who was highly committed to wanting to study abroad, but that's because she came to see us. She's a local Boston student, had never left the country before, and just really wanted that experience of what the world had to offer her. And she got to really have those experiences. So it's really awesome. Someone ran into her recently, and she's now moving to LA to kind of start her acting career and do that in LA. So the possibilities are there. And she was also a high scholarship student. So she's somebody who received quite a few scholarships for the program she attended. But once again, it's about coming to see us, staying diligent, checking your email, making sure you're getting documents filled out. When you have questions, making appointments to see us and talk through whatever questions you have. I always tell students, families, there are no thing as like dumb questions like, oh, I don't want to answer that. Absolutely not. I'd rather you come and sit down with us and let's talk it through. No one here is going to make you feel like your question is lesser than. We prefer that you come and sit down and talk with us so no mistakes are made and that all opportunities are open for you. So come and see us and talk to us, and let's, walk through and talk through what your possibilities are.
Thank you so much, Takesha. Going back to the student's perspective, what would be one piece of advice that you would give any student who are interested in studying abroad?
My advice would be to just go out and explore. Not just go out of your city, state, or just try to go outside the country and explore and learn what, the earth or just any other countries have to offer. Just learn as much as you can. And next, I mean, who knows? You might love it and you might want to work out there and, have another vacation trip. I mean, my plan is to go back out to Australia, but just not Sydney, but go to a different city and, probably take a family member this time and see how it is. So I would definitely just say explore and, take it as you can.
I definitely second what Titus said. I definitely learn and explore different cultures. You'll develop a better understanding about yourself, and it'll help you grow as an individual. So yeah, definitely learn about other people and connect and form community. Definitely.
Yeah, it seems like everybody has the same piece of advice because I was going to say try everything. You're going to have excursions in the different programs you go in. I know in the castle, do pretty cool things. In Ghana, we visited museums and art history things. But some of the funnest parts were the random adventures that you're going with your roommate to go get dinner at the random market down the street. Or it's just like the normal things that you do in the US, when you're in a different part of the country, it's like not normal. So it's all of a sudden super fun to do all of these regular things. So that's my first piece of advice. Try everything, do what you normally would not, get outside your comfort zone. Second piece of advice is to take a lot of pictures. You want to document this experience, looking back at like some videos or pictures, or if you're a film person, even I made a documentary when I was in Ghana just for kind of memory sake. And that is something that I hold dear to my heart because the experience was so special for me.
Thank you so much, guys. There's a lot of questions on the chat about specific majors and studying abroad. Those are definitely possible. There are certain programs that are leaning more towards a major. So, as Tyler was mentioning, the global pathways are led by a faculty member, and the faculty member might have a particular perspective or idea about these programs. So, those could be more major related. That doesn't mean that you can not use some of your elective credits to attend a certain or global pathway that you might be really interested in studying. So that's something that I highly recommend, because we have for film, we have one in Prague, maybe for people who want to do business or creative enterprises, or they have an interest in music or a music entrepreneurship. They want to go to the program in Valencia, Spain with the Berklee College of Music. Somebody who might want to do international relations or communications or intercultural communication or simply explore a little bit more of Europe, they might want to join Blanquerna and do a little bit of that. Or if you want a different location, you could also do Lugano, Switzerland. So there's a lot of different opportunities that you can do. Some of those are definitely attached to your major and more major related. For some others, if you have the interest in living in that location and learning about it, as the students have said, try it, give it a shot. It will only help you grow and be better. And one of the most important things about colleges is figuring out the things that you love, but also figure out the things that you don't love. Titus.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on that. On just the majors, I have a friend that was on a debate team, and I don't think it's like specifically like credit wise, but I know he just went to South Korea. I know they were supposed to go to Greece, but I know that was canceled because of the things that were going on. But I also know that he did like Liberia for like spring break. So I also just want to mention like it doesn't really matter what major. I know Emerson offers a lot of global pathways and semester longs, but it's also our debate team that also studies abroad, and I know they also go to New York or Chicago. I'm pretty sure, but I know you guys could probably talk to when you guys come here. But I know you guys can talk to Takisha or whoever is in charge of the debate team for any other information about that. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Titus. I really, really appreciate that feedback. There's another question in the chat about studying abroad within the United States besides the ELA. We have the Washington Center in Washington, D.C. So for a lot of students that want to do communication, maybe they have an inclination into law, or maybe business, nonprofit. You can also join the DC program, the Washington Center. So that could also be a really good opportunity for you, that we might have here in the States. Once again, with Takesha, if there's something that you have in mind and that you want to explore, ask them, propose that idea, see what's possible within the states, and we could go search and see what other opportunities. I don't know if Takesha, you have any comments about even other places within the states.
I have to say, we don't get a whole lot of requests for folks wanting to study at other schools outside of our DC program and, of course, Los Angeles campus. But once again, come see us and let's talk about it. And, there's a possibility of making it happen. But the biggest thing is coming to see us, right when you arrive is going to be key and important to talk about that so we can look into it and make sure everything is set. One of the things that we do, we work really closely with academic advising as well. So not only meeting with us, you're going to be meeting with your academic advisor because we want to make sure the credits and things that are offered on these study abroad experiences match up with what you need to make sure you stay in line to graduate on time. So we're just not going to send you off to study abroad just because you want to. We want to talk about how is this going to align with your credits and make sure that you're going to graduate in time and not spend extra time because you did a study abroad program. Like I said, the student who did the 4 programs, she graduated on time in 4 years by doing, inclusive of doing 4 different study abroad programs. So that is something we have a pipeline connection to the academic advising. So you'll be ping-ponging when you first start talking to us between us and academic advising to make sure everything lines up and it fits what you want to do.
Thank you so much, Takesha. Malika, welcome. So happy that you're here with us to speak a little bit about LA. So we would love to learn more about your role at the LA campus and tell us some of the wonderful things that LA has to offer to our Emersonian community.
Sure, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Malika Fowler, and I'm an Assistant Director of Experiential Learning here at Emerson Los Angeles. And in short, I am one of the internship providers, not internship providers, I'm sorry, internship support. A part of the support team is 2 of us, myself and Emily. So we support students with their process even before they get to ELA. ELA has 3 semesters, fall, spring, and summer, where our fall and spring semesters are our largest, where we have at least 150 to 200 students who join us here. That's every fall and spring semester. Summer is a lot more scaled down, where we top out at about 30 students over the summer. We meet with every student before they arrive to Los Angeles because we want to get to know more about your experience, some of your interests, and the type of internship you want to target. So we go through a mandatory advising period with each student so we can get to know each other and you can learn more about our role and how we'll partner with you as you go throughout the process to find an internship. We also have workshops in preparation before you land your internship. Those workshops include interview prep, where there's a mock interview phase of that, where you can go over frequently asked interview questions with us and get real-time responses and information about some of the context of those frequently asked interview questions. So that's the interview prep workshop. We also have a workshop for navigating offers, internship offers, because as excited as students are to hopefully get an offer for an internship, there are other nuances or anxiety that comes along with that. Like, I'm waiting for someone else. Should I say yes? Should I say no? How do I manage that? So there's an entire workshop around how to navigate that process. And also, after you get your offer, great, but there are other things to expect and ways that we want you to show up and be a success at your internship. So we have an after the offer workshop as well with some best practices to have a successful time at your internship. Throughout the course of all of that, we are meeting with students as needed. So if students needed to reach out for questions, concerns about their search, you are able to schedule a one-on-one appointment with myself or Emily. We divide the students in half typically. So you will have an assigned advisor of myself or Emily, and that's who you will be communicating with most. We also support students with access to internship leads. You may be familiar with Handshake, the job platform where many internship sites or companies post for internships and jobs. And so on Handshake, we're able to pull several of those internships and we put them into a Google Doc where we're like aggregating all of the information from those internships. We also work closely with alumni or other partners where we are sharing those job leads or internship leads with students. So you have that as a resource, as an ongoing basis where we're not directly placing students in internships, but we are providing a gateway to access all of what's available to you in Los Angeles, or several opportunities. But we also encourage students to utilize any other job board or anyone in their network to get an internship. But from beginning to end, from the time you are accepted, you are definitely working with myself or Emily. Now, if I can just back up a little bit about acceptances, usually our application goes out every fall, like sometime in September. And students are applying for the future academic year. So for example, when our application comes out this September, it will be for fall 27 and spring 28. And the deadline is usually mid-December. So the application will come out September and be due somewhere around December 15th. And it's always for the future academic year. We've already completed our application and acceptances for fall 26 and spring 27. So the next one would be fall 27 and spring 28, coming out in September, due mid-December. Summer acceptances usually go out like at the top of March, but you're usually applying around the same time that original application phase. Any questions about any of that? Oh, you wanted me to also provide what else is available to students at campus. So once you arrive to Los Angeles, of course, you've done a lot of work to get an internship, and that's a big part of this whole process. But students also take classes at ELA. Students are full-time, so you're either taking 12 or 16 credit hours at ELA. One of those classes is how you get credit for your internship. It's like the framework in which your internship provides you that academic credit. So that also allows students to determine how many hours they're going to be working at their internship. So you can register for a 4-credit internship course, or an 8-credit internship course. The difference between the two is how many hours you're working at your internship. So if you register for a 4-credit internship course, which is an actual course that meets every other week, you are working 16 to 23 hours per week at your internship. Again, 4 credits would be 16 to 23 hours that you're working at the internship. If you register for an 8-credit internship course, you are working 24 to 32 hours per week at your internship, 24 to 32 hours. In the summer, a little bit more flexibility. Students do not have a full course load. They're only taking 1 class, which is the internship class. So you'll be taking only 4 credits. There's no 8-credit option in the summer, because you can work up to 31 hours in the summer just from being registered for 4 credits. You're not limited to 23 hours when it's the fall or spring. So summer, no full-time, you take 1 4-credit hour class, and you can work anywhere from 16 to 31 hours per week. Also, throughout the semesters, there are on-campus professional development opportunities, and 2 are connected to that internship course, meaning that you must participate in at least 2 professional development events on campus or even off campus, where you're able to provide proof of that to your 499, that's the course number, the 499 faculty members, so that you can gain credit for professional development. But there are so many opportunities going on at ELA. You'll never come up short, whether there are talks with people who are alumni in the business or other professionals in the business, as well as early career workshops where different companies will come out, such as Company 3, that's one off the top of my head. They will come out. That's a post-production company where they are responsible for film and television, the coloring and stuff like that in post. So they will come out and do early career days with students. And Also, like I said, different companies will come or individuals who work in the industry as alumni or otherwise will come out and have several industry events with students. So there's always something to do either on campus. We encourage students to leave campus too. There are not only professional development opportunities off campus, but also opportunities for leisure, museums, beaches, and such. We're also really close to Paramount, Gower Studios, where there could be events or things happening there as well.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Malika. That
You're
was
welcome.
super helpful. Um, Keisha, quick question for you. Can students have an internship while they study abroad? Is this something that has happened in the past, or is normally not the case?
It is usually not normally the case, just because internship looks different in every country. And of course, while we're in those countries, we have to abide by those rules and regulations and guidelines of that country. So that is not usually a thing for us where your internship, you're usually taking a class for credit while you're studying abroad, unless a program is specifically built for that. And right now, from my recollection, looking at all of our programs, that's not something that we offer currently for studying abroad, that you're in an internship while you're there. However, there are programs, Global Pathways, where you're going in and you're meeting music industry folks, people who are heading up MTV, and being able to sit down and like pull knowledge from them, because these are the things that we set up depending on the Global Pathway program you're with and the people you get to meet and talk with and really kind of gain that knowledge from. So it may not be an internship, but there's opportunity to really connect with folks globally who are in the field of work you're desiring to be in the future.
Love it. That's a great question. There was a super fun question for the students in the chat, and this is something that we probably all thought about. Language barriers. How was the language situation where you guys went abroad? And how did you manage?
Um, yeah, I'll start like I've been. The language barrier was interesting. You'll be surprised, but I met a Canadian there in Australia when I went, and just the different things that they would call, like they call their bar a pub. So that was interesting for me. But yeah, it was really a fun time and just experiencing that. Also, just people that would come from New Zealand, just because it's kind of like their neighbors from there. So that was also a thing as well. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Wayne, tu español, ¿cómo está?
Uh, yeah, so in Chile, they say they speak English, they don't speak English, they lied. The thing is, I think like when we got closer to more touristy places, they spoke English, but when we were in like Valparaiso, they did not speak it. I think that you just kind of, if you don't know Spanish as well, or you're still learning, I would take the measures to kind of learn some of the greetings and some of the things that they say in Spanish, just to be more acclimated to the environment that you're being put in. But it was a barrier. But the community, like I said before, they're so nice, they're so kind, and they're very patient with you. So I would just say take the precautionary measures, get on your Duolingo, ask a Spanish friend. But yes, they do not speak English.
My experience in language was pretty simple. In Ghana, they all spoke English. Most Ghanaians are actually bilingual between English and their tribal language. And so there wasn't too huge of a barrier, but I've definitely thought that understanding a few words in the local language gives you some credibility, especially if you're like negotiating prices or things like that.
Awesome. Well, I think I'm gonna go with one last question. And everybody can approach it from the perspective. And we'll go with Takesha, Titus, the same order, and then Malika will close us out. What studying abroad has given you that you think you didn't have before this experience in your study abroad area? And what would be the next destination that you would like to explore? Uh, Takesha, you want to go first?
So, I did not study abroad as an undergraduate or graduate student. So I do believe my study abroad came when I had the pleasure and honor of working for Emerson on our Castwell campus. Once again, it was my home for 5 years. That meant Europe was my home. I currently have 35 countries under my belt visited. Most recently, Serbia and Romania last summer, and two new countries. I am very much a person who loves to explore and see new things. I love, love, love hearing from students like we have on our screen here today who talk about what their lived experiences and talking about coming up and talking to our offices and being able to help guide them to get doors open for them to study abroad. So for me, I'm an explorer. I'm always learning. I also travel solo most of the time. So this upcoming year, end of this year, I'm planning a trip to hopefully Vietnam, Japan, and Thailand. I've been to Thailand, but I have not been to the other places. So I'm all about exploring the world. And I love just being in spaces that are new to me, learning new cultures, meeting new people, and bringing some of that back to my home and how I operate, how I live, and with my community. So for me, that is key and important. And the pleasure that I get to actually work with students to gear them up to study abroad, to me is unmatched. Because I enjoy going up to a place, especially new for the first time to me and a student. So I remind them like, hey, it's my first time too. And walking and talking with them as we're exploring a city or speaking to them the next day after they had a free half day to themselves and ask them what did they get into, what did they see, and some of the like fabulous conversations I've had with students riding the metro in a new city because we're just all crammed in there and we're talking and laughing. I love that. So I love what I do and what I get to do here at Emerson with our student population. So next place that I want to live, like not live, but work to visit will be hopefully Japan has been high on my list. So I'm really looking forward to that and Vietnam. And I'm going back to Thailand because it was a place I loved so much. I spent a week in Bangkok and I want to explore the rest of the country. So I'm looking forward to 3 weeks on the road and spending a week in each country at the end of this year.
Thank you, Takesha, and thank you for everything you do for the community and also the students. Those are places that are also around the corner. Titus,
Uh, could you repeat the first question? I know the second question because I want
yeah, and just go like, how did it change you pretty much? What was it after this experience that you're like, wow, I'm ready to go see the koalas again?
yeah, the koalas and the kangaroos were definitely nice. They were nice people. Yeah, but yeah, I would just say the place Australia kind of like first time out the country, first time flying for 15 hours on a plane. That kind of made me just want to explore more. Learn how other countries work. I'm from Atlanta, so like coming from Atlanta to Boston was something I feel like is small now compared to me going to Australia. So now I'm just trying to see what else can I do, explore, make as much memories as I can, as Jacob mentioned, maybe kind of like film it, take pictures, go back to it. And, you love to create memories because, take it day by day. So, yeah, I would just say that. And then also a place that I could think of is probably Maldives. And I don't want to steal Takesha's, but like Thailand was something that I wanted to say, but I'll just say something different, just say Maldives.
Just really quickly, I think studying abroad kind of broadened my outlook on everything. I think before this academic year, I was okay with not studying abroad because I was like, America's so big and like the South is its own country and then the West Coast is its own country and it's like it's so huge. Like I want me just go to every state and that'll be fine. So actually the United States isn't the whole world. So you have to get out and I would just encourage everyone to get out and just learn new people. It'll help you learn about yourself. And I think the next place that I want to go to is Colombia. So I'm going to be talking to Raph about that.
For me, studying abroad changed my value system in specifically two aspects. Rain touched on it a little bit. Curiosity was the first, and empathy was actually the second. Going into Ghana, my goals early in college were to be super smart, to be super knowledgeable, to be a good leader. I thought that's what would make me a good person. But meeting so many people halfway across the globe taught me that empathy should be my number one priority and understanding people and being able to make connections with people, even if they are a little bit different than me. And then the second aspect, touching on that curiosity, once I hit that first country, like Rain touched on, now I just want to go see so much more. And so I feel much more explorative. And I think because of that trip, I'll be abroad much more often. My next destination, I think I want to go to Brazil.
Malika, anything you might want to add? Are you thinking about going anywhere fun?
Wow, you all really just had me engulfed in your stories. I have never traveled overseas or did a study away program. The most I've gone overseas was to the Caribbean because I'm from Chicago and it gets really cold there in the wintertime, and my birthday is dead smack in January. So before living in LA, of course, where I had, very low temperature um, birthdays, I would go to the Caribbean, but that's about all. And Takesha spoke on a point that I'm just now getting into, and that's traveling solo. I haven't traveled overseas solo yet, but I did travel just recently for my birthday this year to just a few hours away over to Vegas. But I said I'll just dip my toe in the water a little bit as far as traveling solo goes and take it from there. I do have a passport, but again, it's only been as far as the Caribbean and like Jamaica and such. So I gain a lot and learn a lot from students because students who come to Los Angeles, they have not only been to Los Angeles, but they may have done some of our other programs. So hearing from students and like the gentleman said about, just learning so much more from people across the world and just building your own level of intelligence and just learning what's more important and empathy and learning people and getting out there. I think that's huge. So you never stop learning, no matter what age you are, learning people or learning culture. So I am very interested. I'm actually also getting back into my Spanish classes since living in Los Angeles, and I try to practice what I know with Spanish speaking people here. So I think my next place that I'll go to probably will be Mexico. Believe it or not, I've been here for a decade, and Mexico is so close, and I have not even been to Mexico. So I feel like once I get my Spanish up a little bit more than what it was when I was over in Puerto Rico, then I will do that and start my abroad travel that way. But thank you all for filling me in on everything and just the encouragement from your experiences. So that's all for me. But one other thing I wanted to mention, Raphael, that I would be remiss to leave on the table leaving this session. Another thing that's huge about Emerson Los Angeles is CAN, the Career Advisory Network. And the Career Advisory Network is where students are matched with industry professionals who are also Emerson alumni. So they have your best interest at heart. And it's a program where you sign up and you participate in 3 sessions throughout the semester, and you get a chance to work one-on-one with an alumni who works in the field that you're interested in, as well as meeting other like-minded ELA/Emerson students who would be in those groups with you. So it's always a huge plus. We've actually had several students who've maintained contact with their mentor from the Career Advisory Network, even after they've graduated or they've gotten jobs by way of referrals or direct work opportunities with the CAN advisors or mentors. So we always encourage students when they come to Emerson Los Angeles, you would be just on a other planet if thinking just totally wrong if you don't sign up for CAN. It's so much to gain and learn, not just for the short term, but long term through that opportunity. So yeah, I did not want to miss speaking about CAN.
No, Malika, thank you. And I think that's one of the wonderful things to know about our LA program is all the networking opportunities on campus and off campus, because I know there's always professionals who are stopping by ELA. Thanks to the wonderful programming that you guys put together. And then also alums coming back to give back their time and their expertise. So that is phenomenal. With that in mind, we are a few minutes over the time this evening, at least here in the East Coast of the United States. Thank you so much for your time, questions, and all the things that we've been able to share. Thank you to our staff. Thank you to our wonderful students and their stories and how they've been able to live these experiences that now will propel them forward to find new, exciting, and enriching opportunities not only in the United States but also abroad. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us in admission at emerson.edu. You can also reach out to your admission counselor. You can find the information in your application portal. We're really looking forward to hopefully seeing you in August during moving and orientation. And anything that you need, if you want to connect with Titus, with Lane, or with any of other students, with Jacob as well, please reach out to us. I know that we'll be delighted to chat with you. Take care, be safe, and we hope to see you soon.